Yeah.
Hi everybody and welcome back to Ljubljana Talks. This is live edition and hybrid version of our Ljubljana Talks, live from the biggest and the most important trade show of our industry, IMEX Frankfurt 2023. I have two amazing guests this morning with me, Karina Bauer, CEO of IMEX Group, and Petra Stušek, CEO of Ljubljana Tourism, and also the president of the board of City DNA. In a company of such a beautiful ladies, we will definitely talk about the challenges of our industry, about the future of our industry, and of course about IMEX. Congratulations on a great show. It was amazing 3 days. This is the grand finale, and we will close this show with a grand finale, Ljubljana Talks. But let me ask you something, Karina. What do you expect from destinations coming to your show?
Well, you know, when we are working with the destinations around the world to come to the show, we see it as a partnership because we work with the destinations, the hotel groups, year after year for both of the shows. And so for us, we just expect and hope that we can work with all the destinations in that way, with that long-term view. We need the destinations to come here, to invest in the show, to make it look beautiful. I mean, it's the destinations and the hotels that are building the stands and doing that, and then we have a responsibility to make sure that that's a good return, that they get the good return on their investment by bringing the buyers here and making sure that they can meet the buyers in a good way and have appointments and drive that business. So it is really a partnership, and we need to work hard for the destinations, and the destinations need to work hard as well to get the most from the show. So that's really, it has to work both ways, I think.
So Petra, what do you expect from a trade show like IMEX?
First of all, good morning to everyone. Actually, in a nutshell, to be inspired. Literally, because it's the biggest show actually in the world, and it sets trends. It doesn't only bring them to us, it actually enables us to co-create them. So this is the place to be, definitely, every May, every year. And it's also not so self-explanatory that CVBs can meet among ourselves, so we can actually also exchange good practices, what we are doing on, and again inspire each other. So apart from, of course, telling what we were doing on all year long, and obviously making real business. This is in a nutshell, like really to be inspired.
Karina, trade shows like yours creates huge multiplier effects. How can you comment this? What does it mean, this trade show, to the Frankfurt, to the global meetings industry? Maybe you can also share some data about this year's show so that we have some ideas what is going on here actually. So
yeah, so we actually, you know, we've done a rebrand here this year, and we also have launched a new purpose and vision and mission, and our purpose is to build human connections all across the world. And so I think that goes as well to what you said, Petra, and also your question about what it means and the multiplier effects, because not just IMEX but all events that take place are about building those human connections. And as you said, you come here, you need to drive the business, but you can also be inspired and share a lot with your peers, with the other CVBs around the world. And so that's, I think, where the multiplier effect becomes so important, having that opportunity to bring everybody in one place at one time. It's not just about the direct economic impact on the city of Frankfurt and in Germany, but it's also about the multiplier effect for every single person that's here. So we talk about that, and we utilize that phrase, in fact, internally quite a lot. It's I call it an outsized impact, really. You know, you have your direct, and then you have all these other effects. In terms of the basic numbers, we're expecting that we'll have had somewhere between 12 and 13,000 people come to the show from about 100 different countries. There are about 300 stands on the show floor, and just under 3,000 exhibiting companies on those stands. And then we expect somewhere close to 4,000 buyers will have been here. About 3,100-ish will be hosted, and the rest are visitor buyers. So that means they're high quality buyers. We qualify them so that they can make appointments, but we're not hosting their travel and accommodation. So we don't have, obviously, as much control over the schedule and the time they spend here. So that's the rough numbers. In terms of the economic impacts, we've just started to measure with our research partners, Explori, both economic and sustainability impacts from the show. And last year was the first year we started to do that, where we actually asked exhibitors and buyers in the post-show survey where they came from, where they stayed, how they travelled, and also whether they have been to Frankfurt before, whether they're more likely to come back as a result of their visit, etc. So we're trying to get a baseline really to see whether we can have that data to showcase some of the economic impact on the city of Frankfurt, on Germany, and propensity to come back as a result of the show. And I think that's important for any event, actually, to try to work out what questions are valuable, because we all need that to advocate for our industry as well.
True. Goras, can I ask one question? Because I really wonder. I mean, I admire the like I said, the trends that you're sending. You have last year you, for example, introduced the workshops on well-being, even mental health. And you have for over a decade already the well-being corner that you can actually hide when it's a little bit too much of everything and get your sense back together, which is amazing. So it's obviously that you are for over quite a lot of for quite a lot of time already an innovator. And this year's innovation, could you I don't know, bring out few?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so as you say, we really like to do that. That's the sort of the, people would maybe call it the softer side of the show, but we think it's really integral. We're doing more and more work within the team to look at the design of the show and really purposefully design the event, whether that's the education, or this year we focused a lot on accessibility. So really looking at every aspect of the show from the point of view of maybe a wheelchair user, or somebody who has neurodiversity and needs maybe some calming spaces. We did bring again in some trained psychologists. They've been doing the listening lab, so people could book in for a 30-minute session with them, really understand what it is to be listened to and be coached. Wow. And they were doing educational sessions as well. And we've been working as well with Google. So Google have started a project called XI, and that really is looking at the design of events from a neurodiverse perspective and how you create events with a sense of belonging. So they've been doing workshops all week in the People and Planet Village, and the workshops, it's pretty cool because they do run them in the same way as workshops are run internally at Google, very fast paced, so you get a little experience, a Google experience, but we'll take all of that learning and see how we can put that out into the industry. But we're working with them very much on the intentional design of the show. And even the rebrand, we looked at the colours to make sure that they were more accessible online for people with a visual impairment. So there's still plenty of work to do around that, but we've really focused on that. Even little things like we published in advance of the show the menus at all the food outlets. So if you have different needs in terms of your diet, you would know where to go before you came. So we're just trying to be very intentional and focused to make sure that everybody feels included and welcomed when they come to a show like this. Our industry is quite extroverted, shall we say, on the surface, but we want to make sure that everybody who can take part feels really comfortable here.
Yeah, even last night, the gala, so many people, but it was really pointed out in a amazing way that everyone heard that the food was really locally sourced. So it's not only about us doing business the proper way, the regenerative, the organic way, but it's also about teaching how to do it.
Yes, and that's the role we feel we have a responsibility and a role to play, because we're gathering the whole industry together. We can both talk about what we're doing and also showcase it. And we feel that if we can showcase some of those things in a big environment, in a big event like this, then other people can hopefully look at it and pick what they can do in their own events as well.
Well, I can say that all three of us are big advocates of sustainability, all on each of us on different fields. So this is definitely not just a buzzword. This is what I feel from what you are doing. Petra is now taking this path for a long time with Ljubljana. This is now a kind of new phase for you, so-called regenerative phase of Ljubljana tourism. Maybe we can start also with that, because this is a kind of topic we are circling around a lot. So maybe Petra, what does it regeneration means to you, and can you explain this concept in line with what organizers are doing actually?
Well, it's actually not a new thing. It's something that we're just putting it in a systematic approach in general, not only in Ljubljana, but all the conscious destinations. And there are more and more of us, which is a great news for planet. But to actually put it in a most, let's say, how do I say plastic, not in a plastic sense, so meaning a way, is to make the place better than it was before the visitors came to. You know, sustainability, it was kind of difficult to wrap what exactly sustainability is, let alone now regeneration, a regenerative approach or regeneration. However, we're talking about not only making less damage, what sustainability was about, but to bring good, to make good and to make places better than before the visitors actually came to the destination. By visitors, we mean also us locals who are visitors in our destinations, you know. So regenerative approach is basically that we contribute to the better of our quality of living. It sounds philosophical, but it's actually about, I don't know, helping craftsmen to survive, and through that teaching locals and visitors about your heritage and enabling them to, I don't know, repair something with them, or to make something as a souvenir, or even for a gift for someone else. It is about going to the farm, for example, and help the whoever owns it to on a field to grow things. It's about making an impact and leaving a legacy there.
This fits well to your story, to sustainable story of IMEX. Yeah, I think it's perfect match.
Exactly.
Yes, it is. And that idea of, as you say, doing less bad and focusing on the good and the legacy, I think that's really important. That's something it's very hard to achieve, but also it's possible to achieve. You see it with some of the association conventions, the medical conventions in particular, that go into destinations and they leave a legacy of maybe better awareness for your heart health or respiratory issues, or some of the events that go into cities, they actually are now putting in during the weeks that they're building up and that they're there in the city, making maybe mobile medical tents or stations where people can go and have their heart checked or whatever it is. So I think those kind of things, raising awareness for issues, whatever those issues might be, is a really nice way to do it. Here at IMEX, we do things like we'll be collecting all the plants from the show floor and then sending them to nursing homes in the local area. All the carpet will be taken. It's actually made into things like shoe boxes, or it's used for power, for electricity, for the region, for the area that we're in. So all these things, what I would say is they take thought, they take intentional design, but we're now at a stage where this is possible and where there are people in most destinations who can help to do that, and I think that's really positive. So for event designers and planners, and especially for destinations as well, to help event planners when they're coming in, to really help them leave that legacy, because if you're organizing an event in multiple different destinations, you don't know it as well. And so I think that's where the suppliers and the destinations can play a really valuable role.
That's right. Do you remember that now over a decade, I think it was 2012, that we in Ljubljana had the IMEX Challenge?
Yes.
It was actually the real CSR program, but with the legacy that we still talk about, and it's still alive. So.
15 years actually.
Yeah, right? It's amazing. So it's a dare for the two of you. Can we do something together, like really soon again?
Absolutely, yes.
Hive is active there, you know,
Yes,
and it
it's
helps
exactly.
to so many children.
Exactly.
That was an amazing project. And what I heard from the people from the institution there, it's amazing. It was an amazing project.
Yes,
It's
and
still
as you
amazing
say,
project.
it's still there, because when you create something like that, it lives on if you do it with the right partners. So, I agree. That type of project is more than the sum of its parts. It's a multiplier effect. That's exactly what it is.
Well, the pandemic seems like a distant memory, so we forgot about it. So we do not talk about that anymore. But what we learned, what was positive about it, and what was negative? What can you say, both of you, about the pandemic times? Did we learn something out of it?
I hope so. I'm happy to go first. I think, one of the things we learned, our corporate clients learned, everybody learned, is that you cannot replace face-to-face human interactions. Right. And that's very good for the human race, and it's good for our industry as well. We really need to bring people together, and we see now in this world of remote and hybrid work that companies even more need to bring their teams together, and so that's as well then is on us as an industry to really help those clients to intentionally design those events to get the most out of them. So I think the world really learned that. I think for us as a business, we had obviously the opportunity to have a very steep learning curve in terms of tech and digital transformation, and that is impacting us now as we come out of the pandemic, to really understand how we can give better data, better information, and serve our clients even better above and beyond the physical show that we produce. And it gave us time as well to really go deep into things like the intentional event design, neurodiversity, all of those things, and understand the importance of them.
Yeah, actually the pandemic, the biggest outcome, in my opinion, is the actual power of the resilience on so many levels, and it woke us up in the proper way. So we are now really more into taking care of, first, of course, ourselves, because it comes out of our personal needs, and that reflects in personal lives, but also in business, which is the best possible news, and of course about the planet too. So it became a global thing, not only a few continents thing like it used to be, So there are, majority of it is negative, that the world shut down. But if we as a human race learn the lesson, then thank God it's over. And it's also a good thing that it happened from this only perspective.
Yeah, I agree with that, just to say in terms of resilience, but also adaptability. Yeah. I think we learned personally and as an industry that we can adapt, that we can work fast, that we can be super creative as well. And I think that gives us confidence then going into the future.
I can see that we're all optimists here, so this is great. I love that. So that's important in life, I think so.
Optimism drives the world.
Definitely. Well, what will IMEX look like in 2030?
Well, I get asked this question. I do truly believe that it won't look completely different. I think, trade shows have been alive for 1,000 years because they're marketplaces. We bring people together to be inspired, to do business, to make those human connections. So that in itself, that's a fundamental that doesn't change. But who knows what are the key issues that we'll be talking about that we need to really drive. Right now it's about things like neurodiversity, mental health. So we can't predict what the future will be. I think it's about staying adaptable, staying really open, and helping and making sure that we're always, what we aim to do is bring those trends to the industry maybe 2 or 3 years before they're mainstream, so that people can start really getting them in their minds, seeding them and understanding what it might mean to them. So I don't know exactly, but I do strongly believe that ultimately a marketplace is a marketplace to bring people together successfully, and that fundamental core doesn't change.
Well, the hot topic, the buzzword of these 2 days of Ljubljana Talks was, of course, AI.
Yes.
We couldn't escape that, so we talked about that with all the speakers and all the guests. So what is your comment about that? So do you see AI as a threat or as a tool, as an opportunity? So shortly, of course, because we can talk for hours about that, I think so, yeah.
Definitely as a opportunity and as a tool. It gives us really great tool in addition to people's skills, because people's skills will never be replaced. But I mean, all of us know that AI actually is the fastest learner in the world, and nothing can top up that. But if we channel it in a proper way, and it looks like we are aware of the threats that can come out of it, then it's a great helper. For example, in the destination, on the reception of the hotel or at the tourist information center, the standard questions that are asked over and over again can be answered by AI, and the actual person can go deeper with the person. And it goes very well together with the trends that you are setting here at IMEX, that we are setting at the destination. We're talking about the concierges of the destinations or of the meetings, people-wise, whereas all the more on the surface things AI can take over. So it could be a great combination. I mean, and in my personal opinion, if you do it properly, AI brings out the transparency in general. We're afraid of it because it's actually more transparent than anything before. We would be afraid of technology even in the past if we would be aware what it brings. So deeper understanding, deeper knowledge. Of course, we're afraid of the unknown, but less and less because it becomes known, and we're starting to use it in our own benefit.
Well, as an optimist, of course, I see the opportunity as well. I think, everything that we've seen over the past 20 years, tech has changed so fast, and we always look at new things coming down the line and say, how will this impact the industry? Is this mean the end of face-to-face events? And what we see, exactly as you said, is every time tech improves and changes, it enables us to make the face-to-face interactions much more effective. So for us, we look at AI as well as a tool. How can we make this event better using that as a tool? How can we reduce some of the administrative tasks so that our team has more time to be on the phone or traveling and seeing our clients and making sure that we understand their needs and can deliver them to the best of our ability. So I see AI as that opportunity for better automation, better administrative tasks, and using our human beings for what they're good at, which is the relationships and the real thinking and the real optimization. So that's what excites me, and I also think that it can take some of the chance away from some of the human interactions, where we can really put people together in a cleverer way and make sure that if you have a specific interest when you're coming to the show, you can really navigate navigate all the things that are going on here much more intelligently and quicker. So that's where I see a real opportunity. And of course, as you say, there are scary things in the news about how AI can be utilized, but for us as an industry, I think there can be some really great benefits.
Again, we are optimists. I love
We're
that.
totally.
I love that. Yeah. But what do you know today that you wish you had known when you started working in this industry? This is a question for both of you.
Ooh,
That is a difficult one.
that is. I don't know. I kind of personally think it's not a good thing if you're the wiser, the wise guy, like knowing everything. So it's a good thing that we were enabled the approach bottom up. So so we were taught by the seniors with a lot of knowledge back then. But it also, at least to me personally, it gave me also the strength and the power, and to then in the further process to co-create some things in the industry. So actually nothing.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, that idea of sort of working from the bottom up and learning the job. I think that's I agree, that's also what I did, and I think there's a real value in that. And sometimes there's a value in not knowing too much, because it's scary when you know too much. I think about the first show I did in 2003. I had no idea what was going on, and that was definitely the best thing at the time. But I think if there was anything sort of that I would have, I guess, liked to know, it's just maybe the fact that people in this industry, they don't expect perfection. They expect top quality intention. They expect you to do your best. They expect you to really focus on that customer service. But actually, this industry is hugely adaptable and human-centric and relationship-focused. And I learned that very, very fast, of course. But I think that's nice. It maybe not what I wanted to know, but it's nice for people to know that coming in. I think it's a way for us to attract new talent, because this is a really special industry, and to be able to articulate why it's so different from other industries. We were talking, and I said that last night, the Deputy Mayor of London was at the awards and said to me, "Oh, this is amazing. This is like a family here." And that's what the industry is. And so being able to articulate that to attract talent, I think, is really valuable.
Yeah, I agree.
One more question: is our industry cool enough to attract young talents? Because we are now becoming more and more a high-tech industry, not logistics anymore. It's about a lot of digital knowledge and so on. So are we cool enough for Z generation? What do you think?
Well, because of that, I think we're cool for the young generation. But in general, we are very cool on so many levels, and it's not just a PR talk or because I'm personally passionate about, but it's because it's so how do you call it, multi-connected, and it brings results on different levels, leaves impact. Gives you opportunity for you personally to leave impact. So the only thing left is on us, the senior generations, to make the cool story for youngers, so they would see the value for them right away. It's like I was, like I said before, it's like I was taught in my beginnings by them. It's the same, our job now. So definitely cool industry. Just the story needs to be even more cool.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. We're not great at telling our story, but I think, as you say, there are so many multifaceted areas. You can be in this industry and be in tech. You can be in this industry and be on stage. And I think it's just helping people to understand all of those different areas and equate some of the events that they might have in their mind, which are maybe more consumer events, and show how that actually equates resonates and is still relevant in the business context. More and more business events, consumer events, we're all one person. It doesn't really make sense anymore to have that distinction. Yeah. And so I think we are cool enough, but we need to tell our story much better. One thing I would say is, the IMEX team, we have nearly 80 people. We have people of every decade, with us. And, I see some of our newbies that are here for the first time. They've been working in the office maybe almost a year, and they haven't come to a show yet. And I see them come in here on Monday or Tuesday morning when the show's built up, and their eyes, are like, wow, this is amazing. And one of them said to me, he's in our tech team, he's working on data and things like that, and he said, I've been working on the data for 6 months, and now it's people. Yeah. And so that is what's cool. It's that human connection, and kids now are online all the time, and they need the human connection, and they want it. And I saw all of those 20-year-olds on the dance floor last night and having the time of their lives. And so, the fact that we can give that to people, you work hard, yes, you do all these things, but when you're on an event, that is an amazing feeling. And to be able to have both facets, I think, is really valuable. So we just need to tell that story or demonstrate that story better.
Yeah, definitely. Because the kids nowadays are all about, they wanted to contribute, to leave their imprint already. So this is also a good news that they're so eager to do that already as young, in their young years. So it's a great combination of everyone. So
to change the management techniques a little bit. So if we manage people with the techniques from the 19th century, then of course it simply doesn't work.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm joking a little bit, but we are coming to the end of this Ljubljana Talks. Ljubljana Talk, and I have short questions for you, and you can elaborate a little bit your answers. First one is for you, Karina. Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Can you explain why?
I set up a TikTok account in the pandemic, and I've never used it. So I definitely can't say TikTok because I have no idea how it works.
But it's funny, I can tell you
but
that.
It's very funny. My kids are on TikTok, so one day I'll get there.
Backstage or front stage?
That's a tough one. Whew. Well, obviously a front stage, but the backstage is really appealing because that's where the actual managing flows are happening, and the setting up. So the framing things. Actually, the backstage is the key one, but the exciting one is the front one.
Sustainable question: train or car?
My electric car. It depends where I'm going. I do love a train journey as well, but no, I've got a fabulous electric car. I love it.
Walking or running?
We are made for walking, but I would choose running. Brings you faster someplace. It goes with my character together.
One for both of you, summer or winter?
It depends where. Winter in the mountains. Winter or summer in the mountains. I love the mountains. And but I'll be in Turkey next week where it'll be summer, and I can't wait to be on the beach. So can I have everything?
Absolutely.
Well, for me it's winter. Because it's so pure. And everything is covered. However, underneath is a lot going on, and it's the new life is, bursting and coming out. So, I love winter.
Thanks for these great answers. Thanks for being our guest today, early in the morning. And yeah, you can be happy. Karina, if you look around, there are a lot of happy faces. This is for me a first sign that you did a great job. So you don't need to survey for that. You just go around and you see happy faces. So
thank you for that. I appreciate it.
And, yeah.
Well, since we're wrapping up, I do have a question for you. You had so many talks now. So what did surprise you, or what did come out that you would emphasize out of what you've heard?
Absolutely, it was amazing learning process for me. I learned so much. For example, I can talk for hours about that because it was really intensive. We had 14 guests here actually. So, for example, I didn't know anything about events at sea, at cruise ships. That was amazing talk, you know. I learned a lot from that. Then, of course, yesterday there was a lady doing experience design. She's doing what you explained a little bit now, but she went deep into the topic, you know. So we do not know a lot about that. So how to create real experiences?
Yeah.
What does it mean to create experiences? And so on and so on, Petra. It was amazing. It was a learning for me, and that's what I like. And this is what our industry is also all about, you know. And we need to have a space to talk about things openly. Also, some people were critical to certain things, but this is what Ljubljana Talks is about. So, yeah. Love it.
Yeah, so Karina and Ray and the whole team and everyone involved, really thanks. Actually, you enabled us, all of it. So also from me personally, sincere thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thanks again. Stay tuned. We're coming back at 10 o'clock.
Great.
Hi everybody and welcome back to Ljubljana Talks. I have two great, amazing guests with me today. They're coming from Lviv, one of the most beautiful cities in Europe, from Ukraine. We have Olena and Julia from Lviv Convention Bureau with me, and I'm really happy to have you here with me, and that we will talk about the situation in Ukraine. We will also talk about the meetings industry, what is going on around the world. And let me start with the first question. I just learned yesterday when we talked about that the meetings industry is really going on in Lviv instead of everything. What can you say about it? How can you still organize events in the middle of war, actually?
Hello, thank you audience, and thank you for inviting us. It's really pleasure. And today we are here also by invite of IMEX organizers, and we really want to say something about us, that we're still alive. Our industry is going on, and as we have yesterday we had a presentation. Last year we have 593 conferences in Lviv. Like, the war started, but what we had, we have this need of doing meetings, and we have to have gathering and to invite people from international organization, from embassy and whatever. And is our conference industry is still alive? Yeah.
But how can you organize events if the situation is always under pressure? You're always under pressure. So where does it take place, actually?
Oh, it's really nice questions. You know, when people think about the war in Ukraine, all the bad images that they have in their head, that are destroyed, everything, that a lot of bombs, Russian missiles everywhere. But thanks God, Lviv is a city in the western part of Ukraine. We are closer to Poland border, and our conference infrastructure is right now undamaged. So thanks God we have this opportunity to host all of these conferences, and our PCO organizes the security for them, for these delegates. And you know, they are very creative. All the time they find new ways where to have these conferences. And right now all the conferences in Ukraine and in Lviv especially, they are holding in the under shelters, at shelters underground, and we find different ways how to be alive. Even in autumn, when it was blackouts and there is no electricity in the city, they find ways how to bring generators from different European countries, European cities, and they still continue working and organizing events. For some people it looks like impossible, but not for Lviv, but not for Lviv PCO. So that's why.
I learned from you last year that you also helped in logistics of different things. So how this role change of PCOs and DMCs and event agencies, do they have a role in this process of logistics for the war, or how does it go, you know? Because I learned last year that they helped some of them with the which were big concert organizers. They helped to organize delivery of support from the West and so on. So this know-how we have in this industry, it's useful even in bad times. Am I right, or?
Yeah, you are amazing. You're totally right. When the war started, a lot of PCOs, local experts, they became a volunteer. And first, what they did, they organized this logistic with people. You can imagine, it was huge amount of people that have fled from the war from the eastern part of Europe. Yeah. They have the skills. They organize this huge amount of people in different directions. They bring them food. They organize catering. They, you know, like even World Central Kitchen, they cooperate with Ukrainian restaurants, with Lviv restaurants, and they prepared 4.5 million portion of food. Like per day, for one day, they feed like 35,000 people. So it's a huge amount. And PCOs, people from my industry, from our industry, all of them organize such kind of suppliers, and this helps a lot.
And they also opened their hostels, their hotels to people, internally displaced people. So today we have 200,000 people, internally displaced people. They're just living. Like, imagine Lviv has
The population of Lviv is 500,000. Am I right?
Lviv population of Lviv is 800,000.
Okay, yeah.
And we have 200, like one for time we have this internally displaced people, but from the beginning of full-scale war, 5 million people crossed Lviv, and they stayed like 3 or 4 days, or like they were living at schools, in hostels, in shelters and whatever. Even I have 4 families at my own home, and and it was huge amount of people. Like after the COVID, we were dreaming about a tourist, and we really had it. Yeah, and all this industry and what they do. Yeah, and all this industry, they were organizing buses to evacuate children, to evacuate children from the hospitals, from the different like places where orphans are. Like everyone was like engaged in all these things. And if you have a bus, then you use your bus. And like people were paying their own money for fuel and whatever. Nobody was asking, and it was like a big like our place near railway station was overcrowded, and there was some big belief. I have met organizations that was checking for human trafficking, human like this human rights, and they were, oh my God, that everything is good, like people believe each other and everything is good, no thieves or something stealing. So it's like all the society was mobilized, and mice industry have these resources, and they were helping every time. Yeah.
Can you explain also the role of Convention Bureau? I remember when Convention Bureau was a kind of support for PR of the mayor and so on. Then you still you started again to promote Lviv as a conference destination, which is of course at this moment difficult, I know. But what is the role now of the Convention Bureau? So what can you say about it?
What is the role now? I'm just a new person in this, but what we are doing with the team, with Yulia, and she's amazing. I'm lucky to have as a good team. Yeah. So
team,
so and what we do, we try to refresh our view on this industry and on this organization. And last year, due to IMEX conference, my colleagues meet Gaining Edge organization, and they really help us to rethink all these things. So what we are doing now, we have 2 strategies. One strategy is that we are not supposed to, it's not ethical to invite people for conferences in Lviv, but we can join experts and people on the fields to create legacy, and that's our motto. Let's create legacy together, because industry is not about just meeting; it's about legacy. It's what is behind this meeting, and what we need to give our communities, to give our world. Yes, so we want to create legacy, and it's not possible to do like in the common way. So there's a huge industry, and we can engage them, everyone, experts. So if you want to, let's join us. We need cardiology, we need rehabilitation. So that means that
these are the fields you would like to power somehow.
And like the good example of that legacy is that last year in 2022 we had a big rehabilitation forum, and a lot of people were invited. Red Cross, local business, and different businesses. And in 2023, 7 floors of big rehabilitation center was opened. Yes, and we have this unbroken rehabilitation center, and near that we have rehabilitation center for children, and we have tourism marshroute for for people who are cured not only by the medicines and whatever, but with the city care, city cures, yes. And like people like just cannot they live in the hospital and just waiting for something. And there are some buildings, and we have even a tram going to that rehabilitation center. So it's like big unbroken city, big unbroken strategy for our community, and it's a big legacy for what we are doing. So it is a first point, it's legacy, and maybe second point, our security. Yulia will tell because
like last year when we came to IMEX, we understand that it was only a few months of war. So what can we do as a convention bureau? It's not normal just to ask people to come or just to advertise or market your destination. It's impossible. So we understand that we should keep on informing people actually what is going on, because a lot of people, they still don't understand. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it Russia okay? Is it not okay? They continue having business with Russia, organize events for some period of time. Thanks God, we try to keep it. We try to be loud and understand why it's not good to do this kind of stuff. So the first time we try to inform, we're still doing this, like a diplomacy of, from mice industry. But right now we understand that it is the second year of the war. So we have to still pay attention to a lot of things that happen in Lviv. And the biggest one is security issue. So we still want to organize such kind of events. We want to emphasize on the security issue. And we understand actually that it's only not Ukraine problems. It's also the problems of Taiwan, of countries that are neighboring to Russia. It's countries what's in Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. They also have such kind of fear that Russia can invade them, Romania, Moldova, and that's on. So we think about our huge forum that when we can discuss all of these topics. We really want to encourage experts to come to Lviv. It's not a huge event, it's a small event, but we want to think how we can handle this situation. We have really nice example when in 2017 or 18, I don't remember, Israel in Jerusalem Convention Bureau organized such kind of summit. It was the huge level of terrorist attack
so what
there.
Date it will be? Do you already have a date for the event, or
We are thinking
you're
about
still
this.
planning?
We are thinking about this. We can be like a long strategist because of the Russian missiles all the time, but we really hope to do it in September before next blackout.
To make you feel better, one of the trends during these days is that they have a short planning period all over the world. So
You are totally right. You're totally right.
like luxury for us to have a long planning, unfortunately.
Very good idea. I love it. But are we helping you enough? What do you expect from us, from the industry? Are we doing it good enough or not? Be actually honest.
It's a provocative question.
That's why we are here. This is Ljubljana Talks, which is a provocative format. So
That's what we want. Just for the start, we want advocacy. And we want you to be our ambassadors, and we want to tell everyone, because mice industry is very influential industry, and presidents, prime ministers, whatever, celebrities and everyone. So what we want from you is to be ambassadors and to tell everyone Ukraine needs defense, Ukraine needs our missiles and defense systems and more weapons. Really, we are here two girls, peaceful girls. I cannot imagine that in 2019 I would ask someone, please give me some weapon, because every time a person just have a little flag, or just express their opinion in social media, or just as you, for example, as you have a big audience and you have this influence on prime ministers and whatever, and you just asking them to give that support. Sometimes it's generator, sometimes it's some system for I don't know how. For army and whatever.
There was quite a lot of actions.
Yeah.
But then, of course, suddenly, these fade away. So basically, guys, there is still time to support Ukraine.
Yeah, every single word for Ukraine will help your government and help you like common people to defend us, because this is like literally going to our head. So today we have like attack of 10 drones, and it was near my son and my husband. They are near these drones, and I was awaking at 9 and asking how are you, is it good or not, then the connection is bad, and then we can have a blackouts and whatever. So just literally going on my head. So just remember that every single word, every single whole movement, it's helpful. Of course, we would like you to invite us for events, to have this promotion, and I don't know, Yulia, maybe you can tell something.
No, it's really straightforward. I love that, and this is the place also to address these needs you have. So I'm happy that you are so direct, and this is important, so that people know how can they help Ukraine.
I just wanted to add that I have visited a lot of events during this 2022, and our mice industry right now a little bit in a post-COVID situation. There are still a lot of discussions, meetings about what we are going to do after COVID, how we are going to recover, and blah blah blah. And for me, from Ukraine, we said, oh my God, there was COVID. Actually, it was COVID. We have like a new challenge, war. So come on, guys, no one just right now using this math. Of course, it's important issue, and we have to talk. But sometimes I have like some kinds of opinions that it's too much, that we have really like more and more challenges, and we have just to be open to handle that, not just to think that is more comfortable for us, because like this time is over, so we have to move forward. We have to find like new topics to talk about. It's the second time of IMEX and ICA Congress or another kind of events when we're talking about the same topics. So I think like industry professionals should a little bit move forward, try to be like more common to young generation, listen a little bit more these topics, like all the time we can just talk about COVID, digitalization or something like this and do nothing, and over the same topic. So if we can just a little bit move forward.
That provocation, because we talked for 2 days with many experts, and we provoke a lot during these 2 days. We opened a lot of such discussions, but not in a classical way, in a crazy way. So really you need to listen, go through the talks we created here. But I wanted to ask you, if you close your eyes and dream about Lviv in 2030, what Lviv will look like? Let's stay optimistic.
Yeah.
The war needs to finish as soon as possible. Let's imagine that Lviv is back on stage. It's 2030 and you are here at IMEX.
We have direct flight to Ljubljana.
What else?
We have new hotels, new international chains came to Lviv, and Lviv became the medical capital of Ukraine and Eastern Europe because we have a nice experts in medicine. We have a unique experience right now how to handle all these challenges, and we need more and more medical conferences in Lviv that cooperate with technologies and create something special. We are doing actually right now with these prostheses, with this really complicated surgery. So, like it's medical conferences. Yeah. I'm sure that it will be our future technical conferences, because we have a lot of IT specialists. We have a huge, one of the biggest in Eastern Europe conferences that gathers 3,000 IT specialists in Lviv. It's called IT Arena. So I think it is the future for technologies, for innovation, and will be like the capital of innovation, technology, and medicine. As for me, 2040, it looks great.
And this year we are applying for innovation capital, so just fingers crossed. So what we're doing.
Well, we are coming to the end of our discussion today. Do you want to add anything personally? How does it feel to be at IMEX? I mean, what can you say about it? How does it feel for you?
It's first time for Olena, so I think it should answer this because it's my second time.
What can I say? Just I'm amazed by so many opportunities we have here, and of course we should know what we want to, what are our strategy and what we want to promote, and like people are very I don't know, say friendly, and there's a big community, and I feel like good here, and that's I feel this support. Everyone goes and say hello, and we are supporting you, and they are interested, and even someone who were like spoiled by Russian propaganda, they are just asking a question. It's also very good because they are asking questions, and they just now know the truth. So, and just also want to say thank you to organizers, because they invited us, and just to tell the truth, we don't have money for such things, but we have this chance, and we need to promote our Lviv, because after the war in 2025 and 2026 we will open our doors, airport will be open, and we want people to go to Lviv, so we need to stay on tune, to stay alive, and people should know that we want them to see.
Yeah, and the last one that Olena mentioned, our motto, we just want to encourage a lot of experts in different fields to come to Lviv, to cooperate with Lviv local experts that I mentioned: medicine, technology, innovation, military. And we have specific beautiful
of your city.
Yeah, we're very specific and very
Kiev is something, but Lviv is completely opposite.
Yeah.
This is what I learned. So definitely you should visit Lviv as soon as possible. And
We just visit, but create legacy together with us.
I agree. And we finish with short questions to you. First one is live or digital?
Live.
Can you say a little bit more about it?
Because you feel the energy. Of course, hybrid events will continue and will be with us forever, I think so, after COVID. But live, when you can touch people, when you can feel this atmosphere, feel the smile, shake hands, it's our nature of humans. So I think live will be forever us, and it'll have more impact for us.
Train or car? Train or car?
We get here by car.
Okay.
I have a meditation while driving the car, so I like more car.
Dog or cat?
I'm a dog person, totally.
Super.
I think
Straightforward. I love that.
cat is a little bit lazy person for me, so I like to be active.
Winter, summer?
Summer, of course.
Summer, of course.
I like summer, but like every weather is good. Like as told my teacher of geography, he told there is no bad weather, there is bad prepared tourists.
I'm by profession professor of geography.
Oh my God!
So,
So like
that's why I'm asking such questions.
But I like summer because you should have less clothes on you. It's easier.
Well, thanks for joining me. Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава!
And please, guys, help our colleagues from Ukraine, from Lviv. Support them. Do what we actually instruct you now.
Yeah.
So, and stay tuned to Ljubljana Talks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Was it okay?